Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 4. Liverpool extend their lead at the top of the table. Stevie Nicol says he wasn't worried pre-game. He was right not to be worried. Was it as wide a gap as the scoreline suggests, Stevie?
Probably not 4, but I think there's no question there was definitely a couple of goals between the sides. I think for Liverpool it was a case of how to deal with the conditions more than how to deal with Bournemouth. I never at any stage was uncomfortable. Yes, 0-0 at half time. You're starting to think of the questions that we've been talking about since Salah went to AFCON is who's scoring the goals. Because for me, clearly Liverpool were the team that was in charge. After a bright start from Bournemouth, but you expect that. They're at home, got the crowd behind them. But yeah, I figured it was a matter of time. And to be honest, the quality of the first goal from Núñez is absolutely heartwarming for any Liverpool fan. We've been talking about Núñez for a long time about how when he gets in good positions, particularly one-on-ones with goalkeepers, he's kind of lacked a little bit of composure. Well, I'll tell you what, this finish was completely and utterly all about composure. I mean, it was just beautifully taken. It was a good move. Jones to Elliott, Elliott first time to Núñez, and Núñez first time rolls it in the bottom corner. I mean, as I said, heartwarming for Liverpool fans to see Núñez scoring a goal like this. And then after that, no surprise, Jota, just always a menace when he's on the field, and always seems to be in the right place at the right time and popped up with 2 goals. So, yeah, I mean, good performance, particularly with the conditions. There's one thing footballers hate more than anything else, and it's wind. A swirling wind makes passing the ball very difficult. But the way Liverpool handled the second half, I said, heartwarming's the word.
I think there's another adjective. I think you can use clinical as well. You said there might not have been 4 goals in it. There might have been a couple of goals in it, but Liverpool looked like, especially in that second half, that they were going to score with not too many chances. Now, I don't know what you thought. Well, we spoke prior to the Arsenal Cup tie, and it was like, oh, without Mo Salah, without Trent, and this one as well. What is it about this squad, this group of players, that sees them get these results?
Well, I think they all know what they're doing. They're all composed. There never looks like there's any panic. It's smooth. I mean, today was smooth. I said heartwarming, but it really was smooth, particularly in the conditions as well. So yeah, I mean, teams that win championships and teams that are going for championships have to overcome all sorts of things. And today they had to overcome the weather as opposed to really overcoming Bournemouth. And they did it comfortably, and they did it in a calm and composed and calculated manner. So, yeah, that's what this team's got. It's got composure, and it deals with things calmly and calculatedly.
The first and last goals for Darwin, the second and third goals for Diogo Jota. What's the difference between the 2 players?
I think one is just a natural. I think Jota is just a natural goal scorer.
Yes.
Whereas Darwin's everything's a lot. It looks a lot more hard work. It looks as though it has to be more calculated. We've been talking about how he may have lacked that little piece of composure previously that he certainly showed today. So yeah, I think one is more of a natural finisher, and the other one has to work on it, and still has some ways to go to be at his very, very best. But I'll tell you what, if he keeps producing, certainly Núñez I'm talking about here, if he produces finishes like the first one, then he might end up looking like a natural goal scorer.
Stevie, we're all football fans, regardless of whether we played it, commentated on it, or did what in the past. I can see why the fans love Darwin Núñez. He never hides. And you could just see the smile on his face and what it meant to him as well. What's that like playing with someone like him?
Well, it makes it easy for you to work for them. At the end of the day, it's about teamwork. And when somebody looks as though they're not interested, when somebody looks as though they're lazy, then you don't tend to put the same amount of effort in to help them as you would somebody else. And so whether it's fans or whether it's players that play with them, when you see a guy who's busting a gut every single time, no matter what it is, whether he's chasing back like he did in it, he ended up getting booked, but he's chasing back. This is a guy scored 2 goals, but he's the one chasing back at 4-0 and ends up getting a booking. You know, that's the type of mentality you want to play with. And any player that has that mentality, the old classic, you run through a brick wall for them because you know they'll do the same for you.
2 cup ties coming up. Then Chelsea at home and Arsenal in the Premier League. Now, obviously, we don't know what's happening with Mo Salah. He's not going to be back probably for any of the upcoming cup ties or probably the Premier League games. Where are Liverpool right now, especially ahead of those 2 big upcoming league games at home to Chelsea and at Arsenal?
Well, they're in a great position. They're in a comfortable position, in a great position. You saw the way they played today under tough circumstances. I've explained about the whole win situation. So no, they're in a good place. I mean, would they rather have Salah and Endo? Yeah, but you know what? They win 4-0 away from home in the Premier League against the side whose recent form would have put them in the top 4. Yeah, you can't complain. Klopp's going to have a comfortable journey home tonight, and he'll certainly sleep without any problems later on this evening.
Who's title favourites right now for you? Liverpool 5 points clear or City 5 behind with a game in hand?
You're going to ask me this every single week.
Yep, you can change your mind every time you want.
And I'll tell you exactly what I told you last week. Man City are the team to beat. Right now, you have to stay ahead and be ahead of Man City come the end of the season. Right now, Liverpool are, but I don't think the bookies are putting Liverpool as favourites just yet.
Join us next week for the same question, just worded differently. My thanks to Steve Nicol. He's a happy boy. Liverpool scored 4. Diogo Jota got 2. But it was Darwin who got the first and the last as the Reds go 5 points clear. Bye for now.